So, my girlfriend decided to invite her ex to my birthday dinner. Said it was as a friend. When the guy showed up holding a bouquet for her, she smiled and said, "Ah, you still remember what I like." I made my wish when the candles were lit, blew them out, and quietly left the table. Funny enough, that wish came true. 3 days later, she was blowing up my phone, begging me to undo what I'd done. I've been sitting on this story for a couple months now, not just because I was busy watching the aftermath unfold with a bowl of popcorn, but because I was curious to see how far it would go. And let me tell you, it's a hell of a story. Here's the backstory. I'm 29, and I'd been dating Rachel, she's 27, for nearly 2 years. We met through a mutual friend at the grand opening of a craft brewery. We hit it off right away, and things between us moved along pretty smoothly after that. Rachel's sharp, driven. She works in marketing for a tech company. I run my own security consultancy. Basically, we design and install access control systems and surveillance setups for businesses and luxury homes. It's been a solid 5-year grind, but the company's growing strong. We didn't live together, but we were spending most nights at either her place or mine. I've got my own house just outside the city, bought it 4 years ago after landing some big-name corporate clients. Rachel's apartment is downtown, close to her office. Now, about the ex, Brandon. I knew about him from day one. He and Rachel were together for 3 years before calling it quits about a year before she and I met. According to her, they just wanted different things. He was ready to settle down, and she wasn't. Pretty textbook, right? But what wasn't so typical was how often his name kept popping up. Brandon's new gig. Brandon's vacation photos. Brandon's mom being dramatic again. At first, I didn't say anything. I'm not the jealous type, and I know some folks stay friends with their exes. Not how I roll, but hey, everyone's different. About 6 months in, Rachel mentioned that her company needed a new security setup. Since that's literally my job, I offered to help out. Nothing shady, just professional. She introduced me to her boss, we put together a contract, and I got their system installed. As time went on, Rachel started offering input on some of my company's marketing stuff, not in an official way, just some helpful feedback now and then since that's her field. Then came my birthday. Rachel took the lead on planning everything. She picked a nice, upscale restaurant I'd mentioned wanting to try, invited a small group of close friends. It was a thoughtful gesture, and I genuinely appreciated it. Then, the day before the dinner, she drops this on me. "Oh, by the way, I invited Brandon." I looked up from my laptop. "Brandon, your ex?" "Yeah," she says. "Is that okay? He's just a friend now, and he gets along with most of the people coming." Something about it rubbed me the wrong way, but I didn't want to come off as insecure or controlling. So I just said, "Sure, whatever. It's just dinner." Then the night rolls around. We're all gathered at the restaurant, table for 8. My best friend Mike and his wife, my business partner Ryan, a couple of our regular hangout friends, Rachel, and me. We're sipping drinks, chatting, waiting for the last guest. Brandon. He strolls in 20 minutes late like he owns the place. And what's he carrying? A bouquet of purple dahlias. I immediately glance at Rachel, and she's glowing. Full on beaming. Brandon walks over, completely bypassing me, and hands her the flowers. "These are for you," he says. "Happy spring." Mind you, it's October. Rachel lights up. "Purple dahlias! That's so sweet, you still remember." Silence. The whole table just stops. People are glancing between them and me. Mike's wife shoots me this awkward little grimace. Ryan looks like he's biting his tongue. Brandon finally throws me a nod. "Happy birthday, man." No flowers for the actual birthday boy, I guess. Dinner carries on, but it's like I've vanished. Brandon hogs the conversation, cracking inside jokes with Rachel that leave the rest of us clueless. He's sitting directly across from her, locking eyes every chance he gets. And me? I'm at the head of the table, supposedly the guy we're all here for, but I might as well be wallpaper. Eventually, the waiter brings out a cake, candles flickering. Everyone starts singing. Rachel finally puts her arm around me, the first real attention I've gotten from her all night. I stare at the flames, and suddenly, everything clicks. "Make a wish!" someone calls out. I glance at Rachel, then at Brandon, then back at those little dancing flames. I wish for clarity. For some damn self-respect. For the strength to do what I know I need to do. I blow out the candles, push my chair back, toss my napkin on the table, and say, calm as can be, "Thanks for coming, everyone. I need some air." Rachel's face twists in confusion. "You're leaving? We haven't even cut the cake." I've lost my appetite. I tell her, "Brandon can have my slice. Seems like he's helping himself to everything else tonight." And with that I walk out. I hear her call my name, but I keep going. No yelling. No drama. Just peace. Outside I take a long breath. No rage, just a sense of finality. I call an Uber and head home. My phone starts blowing up. Text after text from Rachel. "Where did you go? You're overreacting. It's your birthday, for God's sake. Brandon's just a friend. Come back, let's talk." I send one reply. "I'm not coming back. Not tonight. Not tonight. Not ever." We were finished. She kept calling over and over. I didn't pick up. Instead, I went home and did something I probably should have done a long time ago. I opened up my home security app. See, one of the things my company specializes in is high-end residential security. Naturally, my own house has the top-tier setup, multiple entry cameras, motion sensors, smart locks, everything synced to a secure app. When I first installed it, I'd walked Rachel through how it all worked, showed her where the outdoor cams were, how the system logged every access, how to stay safe when she stayed over. I regularly check the logs, partly because it's standard practice in my line of work, but also just to keep an eye on things. Up until now, I hadn't seen anything that raised red flags. But to be fair, I never had a reason to go looking, until tonight. So I start digging into the footage, targeting the days I was out of town for work. It doesn't take long. A pattern starts forming. Same car in the driveway. Over and over. One I recognized. Brandon's. And there he is, walking right up to my door, punching in a code on the smart lock, and letting himself into my house. Rachel meets him at the door. And the way she greets him? Yeah, not how you greet just a friend. I watched just long enough to confirm what I already suspected. Then I stop. I don't need to torture myself with the details. I've got what I need. Next step? I go through the smart lock access history. Rachel had her own authorized code, of course. But I notice another one in the logs, popping up on days I wasn't home, 5953. Doesn't take a genius to figure it out, on a phone keypad, 5953 spells KY Lee. She'd created a custom code for him. Behind my back. Without my permission. So I revoke every access code on the system except mine. I update the alarm codes too. No more open door policy. Then, I send her a single text. No words. Just a snapshot, security footage of Brandon walking into my house, timestamp from the weekend I was in Denver for a conference. Her reply comes lightning fast. I can explain. I don't respond. Instead, I draft a professional email to her boss. Since I'd worked with their company to install their security systems, it was a business relationship, and I kept it that way. I told him I'd be transferring their account to someone else on my team, due to a personal conflict of interest. I assured him there'd be no disruption to their service. I CC'd my operations director to make it formal, company policy, not personal drama. Then I texted my buddy Jason. We've been friends since college, he's my property manager now. A few months ago, I'd bought a condo unit downtown as a rental investment. Funny coincidence, it happened to be in the same building Rachel lived in. I hadn't planned it that way. The opportunity just came through a business contact, and the numbers were solid. I told Rachel I owned rental property but never mentioned where. She never asked? Her unit was 3B. Mine? 3F, same floor, just a few doors down. So I sent Jason a message. Hey, tenant in 3F at Parkview mentioned some water damage in the bathroom ceiling. Mind checking it out when you can? Could be a pipe problem affecting nearby units too. Truth was, the tenant had already brought it up a week ago. I told Jason to schedule a plumber, but they'd been out of town, so the inspection got delayed. Now seemed like a perfect time to nudge the process forward. Jason messaged back right away. No problem. Plumber's scheduled for tomorrow morning. I'll notify building management to check the adjacent units just in case. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. The next morning? I woke up to 27 unread texts and 13 voicemails from Rachel. Didn't open a single one. Instead, I called Mike, my best friend, who was still trying to make sense of everything that went down. Dude, he said. After you left, the vibe at the table just died. Apparently Brandon tried to keep acting like everything was cool, but no one was buying it. The tension was thick. Rachel kept checking her phone, and within 20 minutes she and Brandon dipped out together. They went back to her place. I said, wasn't even a question. Yeah, probably. Mike admitted. So, what are you gonna do now? I'm already doing it. I filled him in on the security footage. He let out a low whistle. Damn. That's cold, man, but she earned it. Oh, and that's not even all, I added. Then I told him about the condo. Wait, you own a unit in her building? She doesn't know, I said. I picked it up 3 months ago. Good location, great deal. She knows I have a rental somewhere, but never asked for specifics. And now, conveniently, there's a plumbing issue that might mean we need access to her unit. 3 days after the birthday dinner, my phone rang. It was Rachel. Again. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. Then again. By the time the text started rolling in, I was in the middle of a meeting with a corporate client. My phone kept buzzing. What did you do? There's water everywhere. The plumber says it's coming from the unit down the hall. The whole bathroom ceiling just collapsed. Please call me. As it turned out, things were messier, literally and figuratively, than even I expected. The plumber found a slow leak behind the shared wall between my rental unit, 3F, and Rachel's 3B. A pipe had been dripping quietly for months, gradually soaking the wall from inside out. The damage had built up silently. And then, when they finally cut open the drywall to investigate, all that water finally had somewhere to go. It burst out like a dam breaking, flooding both bathrooms. Structural damage. Soaked flooring. Mold risk. The building's maintenance supervisor showed up, took one look, and declared both units unlivable until full repairs could be done. Timeline, 3 to 4 weeks. Now let me be clear, I didn't cause the leak. This was a real maintenance problem that would have surfaced eventually. But the timing? Couldn't have been better if I had planned it. Later that night, Rachel called again. This time, I picked up. Where the hell am I supposed to go? She demanded, skipping right over greetings. I stayed calm. I heard Brandon has a nice place. Silence. You know? She asked quietly. Security cameras, Rachel, I said evenly. Did you really think I wouldn't notice you sneaking him into my house while I was out of town? There was a pause. I was going to tell you, she mumbled. When? I asked. After my birthday dinner? You made me sit there while he gave you flowers. Or after I caught his code in my security system, 5953? That's Brandon on a keypad. Really? More silence. Look, I said, voice steady. Whatever you choose to do with your life from now on isn't my business. We're over. I've packed your stuff, it's all in a box in my garage. Just let me know when you want to come get it. I'll leave it outside for you. You can't just. I already did. I cut her off. Oh, and you no longer have access to any of my company's marketing accounts. I've informed your boss. You're ruining my life over one mistake, she shouted. One mistake? I repeated, laughing once, sharp and humorless. You've been sleeping with him in my house for months. That's not a mistake. That's a damn project. Fine, she snapped. You know what? Brandon and I belong together anyway. He never stopped loving me. Awesome, I said. Sounds like a perfect match. Hope you're both really happy. And I hung up. Blocked her number. Poured myself a drink. Happy birthday to me. 2 weeks later, I was at a coffee shop when Mike texted me. You seen Instagram lately? I hadn't. So I opened the app. Brandon had just posted a little photo dump from a weekend trip. Scenic hiking trails. Sunset selfies. A woman snuggled against him on a cabin porch. It wasn't Rachel. The caption read, Weekend escape with my favorite person. Hashtag no filter, hashtag just happy. For a second, I almost felt bad for Rachel. Almost. Another week passed, and I ran into Hannah, mutual friend, at a local brewery. She caught me up. Apparently, after Rachel's apartment flooded, she moved in with Brandon thinking they were officially back together. 3 days later, his ex showed up. And just like that, Rachel was out. Now she was living in an extended stay hotel, bleeding through her paycheck just to keep a roof over her head. She really screwed that one up, Hannah said, shaking her head. You were good to her. Water under the bridge, I replied without thinking. The pun hit me a second later and made me grin. For what it's worth, she added. I told her she was being an idiot. Brandon's always been a player. I just shrugged. Not my issue anymore. And that was the truth. No lingering anger. No urge for revenge. Nothing left to untangle. The universe had done the cleanup work for me. 6 months on, business is better than ever. I hired another technician, expanded our services, picked up a few commercial contracts I'd been chasing. I'm dating here and there, casual stuff. Nothing serious yet. The house feels quieter now, and that quiet feels good. About a month ago, I got one last message from Rachel. An email. Her apartment had finally been repaired and she'd moved back in. While unpacking, she found one of my sweatshirts buried in the back of her closet. Do you want it back? I responded with the address of a local donation drop-off. No drama. No parting words. Just closure. Because sometimes, the best revenge doesn't involve drama, shouting, or elaborate plans. Sometimes, it's just standing your ground, walking away with your head high, and letting life take care of the rest. And sometimes, birthday wishes really do come true.